What up, y'all? All praise to the Most High, Father I am, through His only begotten Son, King Messiah, the Redeemer. I know we haven't did one of these in quite some time, you know what I'm saying? Me doing the reading, but I've been reading through the book of Adam and Eve, bro. I'm in the third book right now, and I'm on chapter 4, and chapter 4 just blew me away, home. Like, it just blew away all the learning and the knowledge that I knew beforehand, and it makes so much sense, bro. It makes so much sense. Now, before we get into the book of Adam and Eve, the third book, chapter 4, we first have to precept and read Genesis chapter 6 to get a better understanding of where I'm going with this. And the whole purpose of this quick conversation is about what we've been taught, you know what I'm saying, about the angels that fell. And we thought that those same angels slept with the daughters of men, you know what I'm saying? And then I always kind of thought, like, how can an angel sleep with a human being? Like, that was always my thought in the back of my head, but I kind of just shrugged it off. But now wisdom stepped in and said, hold on, everything has to be legit, you know what I'm saying? Like, it has to fall into line as far as this realm goes, you know what I'm saying? Because even back then, things had to fall in line. And when I say things have to fall in line, I mean things that are not of the Most High have to fall in line. Like supernatural events like the Most High part in the Red Sea, you know what I'm saying, for the children of Israel in Exodus to part through, you know what I'm saying? Those are supernatural events from the Most High. Anything from the Most High can be a supernatural event, but anything that's not of the Most High, it can't be. It has to be a normal event. So fallen angels sleeping with women, like, that's a supernatural event that can't be because it's not ordained by the Most High. You know what I'm saying? Now, if it was ordained by the Most High, yeah, anything is possible. Yeah, you probably would have angels sleeping with, but let's not go down that route. Let's just focus on the fact that the knowledge that we've been taught in these churches and even in these Hebrew Israelite camps might have been false knowledge. With that being said, let's get in. This is just something to consider anyway. With that being said, let's get into Genesis chapter 6. Then we're going to precept to the third book of Adam and Eve, chapter 4. So Genesis chapter 6. And we're going to read verse 1 through 8, I believe. And it came to pass, when men began to multiply on the face of the earth, and daughters were born unto them, that the sons of God saw the daughters of men, that they were fair, and they took them wives, of which they chose. And the Most High said, my spirit shall not always strive with man, for that he also is flesh, yet his days shall be 120 years. There were giants in the earth in those days, and also after that, when the sons of the Most High came in unto the daughters of men, and they bare children to them. The same became mighty men, which were of old, men of renown. And the Most High saw that the wickedness of man was great in the earth, and that every imagination of the thoughts of his heart was only evil continually. And it repented the Most High that he had made man on the earth, and it grieved him at his heart. And the Most High said, I will destroy man, whom I have created from the face of the earth, both man and beast, and the creeping thing, and the fowls of the air. For it repenteth me that I have made them. But Noah found grace in the eyes of the Most High. All praise. Now we have to go back to verse 2, chapter 6, verse 2. That the sons of the Most High saw the daughters of men, that they were fair, and they took them wives of all which they chose. Now you have to understand, according to the book of Adam and Eve, that Adam and Eve, when they transgressed, they dwelt in the cave of treasures on top of a high mountain. That was their dwelling place after they transgressed and got kicked out of the garden. That's where they lived, in a cave of treasures in a mountain. You know what I'm saying? Now, when Adam and Eve begot sons and daughters, they all dwelled within that mountain. You know what I'm saying? Until Cain killed Abel, right? Once Cain killed Abel, he left. You know what I'm saying? He just vanished. You know what I'm saying? But he went down, like he left that mountain, and he went and dwelt under the mountain, on the floor of the mountain, on the ground floor. And that was where he created his seed, the seed of Cain. You know what I'm saying? His lineage, his race, the Canaanites. So just imagine that. Imagine a big mountain. On the top of the mountain, that's where all Noah's righteous children, both men and women, that's where they dwelt. You know what I'm saying? On the top of that mountain. Meanwhile, Cain and one of Adam's daughters, they dwelt on the bottom of that mountain, and they begot sons and daughters, which became the Canaanites. And another thing we have to understand is that incest didn't exist before the flood. You know what I'm saying? Because you have to understand also, the Most High makes covenants. And with a covenant is a promise, an agreement. You know what I'm saying? A change of laws, a change of things that you're supposed to do and what you're not supposed to do. Now, when Adam and Eve, around their time, incest didn't exist. So yes, brothers were sleeping with sisters, but it wasn't incest. It was righteous, you know what I'm saying? Because how else could we populate the earth around that time? Yes, Noah had sons and daughters that slept together, but this was before the commandment, before Moses' law that said, thou shalt not sleep with, paraphrasing, your brother and sister. This was before that covenant. You know what I'm saying? So this was all found worthy and holy and righteous in the Most High's eyes. You know what I'm saying? We have to get that understood as well, because there's a lot of camps that like to, preach false doctrine, like, oh, well, if incest, was back then with Adam and Eve, then then there was probably another whole group of people that dwelt prior to Adam and Eve, and that's just a whole nother rabbit hole that is just false doctrine. You know what I'm saying? Because originally it was Adam, Eve, Cain, Abel, and then Adam had daughters as well. The daughters are just not mentioned in the Bible because usually it's just the men that are mentioned in the Bible. The women really aren't mentioned like that in the Bible. You know what I'm saying? Because the story, is based off of the men. All right, boom. Now that we have that down packed, now let's overstand. So we know that Cain, right after he slew Abel, he ran and he ran off with one of Adam's daughters, and they begot sons and daughters that were the Canaanites that dwelt under that mountain, right? So that's when wickedness start to increase throughout the earth. You know what I'm saying? It was with them, with the Canaanites. You know what I'm saying? Meanwhile, to replace Abel, Adam begot Seth. And then after Adam begot Seth, Adam and Eve, they didn't sleep together anymore. You know what I'm saying? After that, I guess they were just too grieved. They just wanted to keep Seth to replace Abel, but after that they didn't sleep together anymore, you know what I'm saying, until their deaths. Now through Seth's bloodline begot all the righteous men of renown. It was from Seth, I don't know how many generations it was, but it was a lot of generations from Seth all the way to around Noah's time, you know what I'm saying, from Seth to Noah. So you had all kind of righteous men within that period, and those were the sons of God mentioned in Genesis chapter 6 verse 2, that the sons of God saw the daughters of men, that they were fair. The sons of God were the sons that dwelt high in that mountain, you know what I'm saying? The bloodline of Seth from Adam. Those were the righteous men, the sons of God that dwelt with the daughters of men. The daughters of men were the Canaanites, you know what I'm saying? That was Cain's lineage. Now, I know all this probably doesn't make sense to a lot of y'all, but you have to read the book of Adam and Eve to understand what I'm talking about. And I know a lot of y'all is like, oh, the book of Adam and Eve. Listen, the book of Adam and Eve has opened my eyes, bro. Like, there's so many details in this book. Just like, boom, prime example. Like, let me see if I still got it here. Let me check. Like, okay, here, like, we're just gonna read the book of Adam and Eve, chapter 1. Chapter 1. Now, just listen to this. This is something that y'all never even knew. Listen, Noah, noticed from his youth up how sin had multiplied, how wickedness, and then this is Noah's back. Like, we never knew a lot about Noah. This is Noah's backstory that we didn't know. Here we go. Noah noticed from his youth up how sin had multiplied, how wickedness prevailed, how generations of men perished, how sorrow increased, how righteous men diminished. Therefore did he afflict his soul, he restrained his members, and retained his virginity, and grieved over the ruin wrought by the generations of men. The generations of men. Again, let's go back to Genesis chapter 6, verse 2. The sons of God, you know what I'm saying? And the daughters of men. That's these same men right here, the Canaanites. You know what I'm saying? By the generations of men. And this Noah habitually mourned and wept, and was of a sad countenance. And thus he held his soul in fasting, so that the enemy had no advantage over him, and did not come near him. This Noah also, ever since he was a child with his parents, never made them angry, nor transgressed against them, nor ever did a thing without their advice. And when he was away from them, if he wished to pray or to do aught else, he would ask of the Most High to guide him aright therein, where the Most High watched over him. And while he was on the mountain, he did not transgress against the Most High in any one evil thing. And this is the same mountain, you know, where the cave of treasures were, where Adam and Eve, where they dwelt, and, you know, all their righteous offspring after them, where they dwelt. You know what I'm saying? And while he was on the mountain, he did not transgress against the Most High in any one evil thing, nor did he willfully depart from what pleased the Most High, nor did he ever anger the Most High. Many were the wonderful things which happened to him, more than any of his fathers before him, about the time of the flood. And Noah continued in his virginity and in his obedience to the Most High 500 years. But after that, it pleased the Most High to raise him a seed. So could you imagine, y'all? Could you imagine holding your seed for 500 years? Could you imagine semen retention? To all y'all that be doing semen retention and thinking that a year is something and 2 years is something. You know what I'm saying? Noah did it 500 years, like it was nothing. Again, but after that, it pleased the Most High. And then you have to understand too, when you like, okay, your seed, your semen, that's your seed. That's your life force. When you release it, that's what ages you. You know what I'm saying? So I truly believe all of us that be releasing our seed, it like that releasing of the seed, it makes you prematurely age. You know what I'm saying? And I believe that's one of the factors of why the men of the Bible back in the day, why they lived so long, because they retained their seed. And they only had sex with their wives when they was trying to reappropriate. They didn't just do it just to have fun with her or whatever. They did it when there was a reason to do it. You know what I'm saying? Now, don't get me wrong. There's nothing wrong with pleasing your wife. You know what I'm saying? Your wife. You know what I'm saying? Pleasing her and, you know, doing whatever you want to do with her. That's your wife, as long as it falls in the laws of the Most High now. But I truly believe, again, like I say, that the men of the Bible, they only had sex for a reason, like to repropriate, you know what I'm saying? And I believe that's why they lived hundreds of years, because their life force was in their body. He therefore spake unto him, saying, well, let's go back. And Noah continued in his virginity and in his obedience to the Most High 500 years. But after that it pleased the Most High to raise him a seed. He therefore spake unto him, saying, Arise, O Noah, and take unto thyself a wife, that of her thou mayest have children, that may be a comfort to thee. For thou art left alone, and thou shalt go out of this country into a strange land, for the earth shall be peopled with thy prosperity. Then when Noah heard this from the Most High, he did not transgress his commandment, but took unto himself a wife, whose name was Hachel, the daughter of Abaraz, who was of the children of Enos's children that went into perdition. And she bare unto him 3 sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth. So basically, that's the backstory of how Shem, Ham, and Japheth came to be. Now, and again, I have to keep emphasizing this, that you have to read the book of Adam and Eve to understand what I'm talking about. Now, I'm just going to summarize from off the top of my head what I've read, because it was just too much to go back and to try to reread it in this short amount of time. But basically, paraphrasing, the righteous men that came from Seth's seed, you know what I'm saying? The Most High, well, throughout their father's generations, they each preached before they died, specifically not to go down from that mountain and dwell with the children of Cain. Even the Most High told them, he said, do not leave this mountain to go and dwell with the children of Cain and to have intercourse with them, because if you do, you're going to be defiled. You're going to defile your seed, your bloodline, and thus be wiped off of the face of the earth when my flood comes. But now this is how they kind of got deceived into coming. Well, some of them got deceived unto coming down from that mountain, because music was never a thing back then. But there was one of the Canaanites, I guess the adversary was teaching them all kind of things. He taught them how to make weapons of war. Before this, the Canaanites, they didn't know any of this, and they all got it from this one specific man. I forgot his name, but he was a Canaanite, and I guess he was real close to the adversary. Like, him and the adversary were like, peanut butter and jelly. So, and this was from his youth, and he was the man that the adversary taught how to make weapons of war, how to make music, and how to mix like different roots and herbs and stuff. Well, not different roots and herbs, but how to basically how to create like wines to get people drunk. Because after that, after he taught all the Canaanites, they was getting drunk. They was listening to all kind of wicked music. They was using those weapons of war, like the swords and all that. They was using all that knowledge from this specific man. And again, I forgot his name. But his name is irrelevant, because that's not what we're here for. What we're here for is to know why the children of the Most High, or the children from the seed of Seth, came off of that mountain and dwelt with those Canaanites, and therefore defiled their seed. Now, again, paraphrasing the book of Adam and Eve, that the Canaanites, they started making music and started, like playing all kind of music and all this. And it caused the righteous children to go on the side of the mountain and to look down at them and like wonder, like with awe, like, dang, like that sounds so good. Like, what is that? Because they never heard music before prior to this. So they started listening to the music every day and every day. And the Canaanites, they were trying to entice, the righteous, specifically the righteous sons, you know what I'm saying, to come down. Because the Canaanites, the women, they would start, and they didn't even know about makeup and all that either. This specific man taught them all that. So they was dolling themselves up, looking like harlots, looking all like beautiful with makeup on. And, the children of Seth, they was looking down like, dang, they looking kind of good down there. So eventually, that thought, that seed that was planted into their head, that wicked thought, became a tree, and it started to grow. And after that, then you know what happens with lust. So a few of them, sons and daughters of Seth, finally gave in, and they came down from that mountain, and they were never able to come back up to the mountain, because after they came down and transgressed with the Canaanites, you know what I'm saying, and did all kind of folly with them, some of them, they was trying to come back to the mountain. They wanted to repent and come back to the mountain, but they couldn't come back up to the mountain because there was a firewall blocking them from being able to come back up to that mountain. So they had to dwell down there with the Canaanites. Now that's the whole backstory of the children of God. The children of God, again, were from the seed of Seth. From Seth to around Noah's time, all those generations of righteous children, both men and women, those were the children of God, because the Most High looked at them as his children because they only did righteousness. They only burnt offerings to the Most High. They didn't do anything unrighteous. So therefore, they were the children of the Most High. You know what I'm saying? Now that we got that out the way, let's read the third book of Adam and Eve, chapter 4. Now this is what it says. But Noah preached repeatedly to the children of Cain. And before this, just note that the Most High, he said, matter of fact, let's go back. All right, I'm going to quickly read from chapter 2 real quick before we go to chapter 4, just so you could get an understanding of how Noah was able to go down near the children of Cain and not be defiled by them. And I truly believe is because the Most High trusted Noah so much, because Noah was such a righteous man. So chapter 2 of the third book of Adam and Eve. After these things, the Most High spake unto Noah about the flood, that it should come upon the earth and destroy all creatures, so as not to let one of them be seen. And the Most High said unto Noah, guard thy children, command them, and make them understand not to have intercourse with the children of Cain, lest they perish with them. And Noah hearkened to the Most High's words, and kept his children on the mountain, and would not let them go down to the children of Cain. Then the Most High spake again unto Noah, saying, make unto thyself an ark of wood that will not rot, to be a deliverance to thee and to the men of thy house. But begin to build it, listen to this, but begin to build it in the low land of Eden, in presence of the children of Cain, that they might see thee working at it. And if they will not repent, they shall perish, and the blame shall rest on them. But cut on this holy mountain the trees whereof thou shalt make the ark. So let me skip to... All right. So basically, you see how the Most High said, build the ark close to the children of Cain so they could see what you're doing. And if they have questions, they could come to you basically and ask what's going on. So now we're going to skip. And it says, and the Most High said unto Noah, go about among the people and tell them that a flood shall come and shall overwhelm them and make the ark before their eyes. So again, the Most High wanted Noah to build this ark in the presence of the Canaanites. And when they question thee about the making of the ark, tell them, the Most High has commanded me to make it, that we may get into it, I and my children, and be saved from the waters of the flood. But when Noah went about among them and told them, and then here they go, they laughed at him and only committed adultery and reveled together all the more, and said, that twaddling old man, whence will ever the waters come above the tops of high mountains? We never saw water rise above mountains. And this old man says, a flood is coming. But Noah did all his works as the Most High had told him concerning them. All right, so that was chapter 2. So that basically gave you a backstory of how Noah was the only one able to go down, and build this ark in the presence of the Canaanites, just so they can, if they wanted to repent, they could still come to Noah and say, like, what's going on? Like, how do I do this? But none of them ever did that. because they were wicked Canaanites. They were of the seed of the adversary. All right, now we're finally going to read the third book of Adam and Eve, chapter 4, so it could all blend in. Now, after you hear this, you could take what you want from it, but I know what I took from it. And from discerning, I believe this. I believe this over angels coming and transforming themselves into men and sleeping with the daughters of men. It never made sense to me. But this makes perfect sense, because again, the righteous, they dwelt on top of the mountain. So here we go. The third book of Adam and Eve, chapter 4. But Noah preached repeatedly to the children of Cain, saying, the flood will come and destroy you if we do not repent. But they would not hearken to him. They only laughed at him. When the children of Seth went down from the holy mountain and dwelt with the children of Cain and defiled themselves with their abominations, there were born unto them children called Garcina, who were giants, mighty men of valor, such as no other giants were of equal might. Certain wise men of old wrote concerning them, and say in their sacred books that angels came down from heaven and mingled with the daughters of Cain, who bare unto them these giants. But those wise men err in what they say. God forbid such a thing, that angels, who are spirits, should be found committing sin with human beings. Never. That cannot be. And if such a thing were of the nature of angels or Satans that fell, they would not leave one woman on earth undefiled. For Satans are very wicked and infamous. Moreover, they are not male and female by nature, but they are small, subtle spirits that have been black ever since they transgressed. And when it says have been black, it just basically means they have been, dark, like evil, wicked deeds dark, not color dark. You know what I'm saying? So black, it just means like wicked in this sense. Been black ever since they transgressed. But many men say that angels came down from heaven and joined themselves to women and had children by them. This cannot be true, but they were children of Seth, who were of the children of Adam, that dwelt on the mountain high up or suspended, while they preserved their virginity, their innocence, and their glory like angels, and were called angels of the Most High. Again, let's go back to Genesis chapter 6, verse 2, where it says that angels of the Most High dwelt with the children of men. And this says right here, in their glory like angels, and were called angels of the Most High. But when they transgressed and mingled with the children of Cain and begot children, ill-informed men said that angels had come down from heaven and mingled with daughters of men, who bare them giants. Now, again, take from that what you will, but I know what I took from it, and this makes perfect sense, so I'm going to ride with it. You know what I'm saying? I've been riding with all the other sayings and things that I've read in this book of Adam and Eve, and it's so legit, bro. Like, it just blows your mind how much, because it's so much that happened in Genesis, but Genesis is such a small book compared to what happened in those generations. And in order to get, that information, those details, you have to read the book of Adam and Eve. You know what I'm saying? You have to. Books 1, 2, and 3. It might even be more books than that, but the book I'm in right now is book 3. And it's so many pages. Right now I'm in page 147. You know what I'm saying? I kind of laid off of this book for a while and merged on the other books like the Apocalypse of Baruch, the Apocalypse of Abraham. Right now I'm in the Dead Sea Scrolls, but I like to read multiple books at the same time. And now I just now picked back up the book of Adam and Eve, and I'm hooked. I'm like, yo, this is knowledge, wisdom, and understanding that I never knew. And all praise be to the Most High through his only begotten Son, King Messiah, the Redeemer. Knowledge is everlasting, you know what I'm saying? And you have to have a discerning spirit when you read certain books to know what is true and what is not. because knowledge is truth. Truth ruleth all, according to First Ezra. And with that being said, I'm not going to make this too long. I already made it a whole half hour. So again, take what you will from this. And I know it blew some of y'all minds, like, dang, all this time I'm thinking that it was fallen angels that dwelt with women. And it makes sense. Like, do you really think a fallen angel would dwell with a woman without tearing her to bits? Like, they hate humans. Yeah, they use the Canaanites. That's their bloodline. You know what I'm saying? They use the Canaanites, to have children, to procreate. But all in all, they hate humans. So it just doesn't make sense. But again, I'm going to continue my knowledge journey, and I advise y'all to do the same. Right now, I'm in the Dead Sea Scrolls, and that's another amazing, beautiful book, you know what I'm saying, that I encourage all y'all to read. With that being said, all praise to the Most High of Abraham, Isaac, and Israel. Father, I am that I am, through his only begotten Son, King Messiah, the Redeemer. Shalom, Salem, and so be it.